which is a good question from the media asking about the team and if he thinks that if there's been any quit. He said, I don't think that they quit. I do think that the confidence was ... stop. He stopped talking and he said, I thought they got caught up in some of the negative things that happened. It's obviously disappointing. Like I said, that was one thing I was most disappointed in, was just seeing that. So practically he just admitted, yes, he did think his team quit in front of him on the sidelines. That's right there what was proclaimed from him, even though trying to negate it at the very beginning. But yeah, I mean, we talked about it earlier. We saw this team start to show some quit a little bit, and maybe even if it's not just not making a play here and there, just the effort wise and just the mistakes here and there, it all adds up. And it just depends on how you define quit, but it showed and quite a bit of different ways in this North Carolina loss.
It wasn't a good look, but at the same time, Mike Norvell, as we've talked about before, he's not one of those coaches to take a shot at his players through the media. And honestly, for the most part, I don't think you're going to hear any college football coach or any NFL coach, say that their team quit.
Brian Kelly excluded.
So it's a pretty damning statement, and it's not a direction that a lot of coaches are going to take publicly. Now, privately, I'm sure those issues are being addressed, but again, I mean, when the season has gone this way, and a lot of those guys on your two deep who are seniors or guys who think that they could go to the league or something like that, who might not be here after December, I just don't know how hard those messages can hit home at this point.
No, you just don't want to see it continue. But like we've been talking about, there's only a few games left on this schedule. There's not many, and this one coming up on Saturday night, it's against a team that's very, very good, and it's going to be a true test to see who wants to be out there on that field. But if there is that case of, hey, this player out here, it's easy to show they're not wanting to make plays, they don't even want to make simple tackles, definitely if it's from some of your veterans, get off the field. I would like to see Mike Norvell be disciplined on that front, and see change happen from Mike, because something that we've seen a little bit of a different side of Mike this year that I haven't been a fan of, that I really liked when he came into this program, showing that force. And hey, if you aren't going to make these kind of changes, just like what we saw a couple years back whenever Deuce Spann had his mistakes on the sideline, yes, we're conversating. Things get a little animated at first, but we are going to have a conversation, and then he likely will give you a chance to respond. But if it just continues on a week-to-week basis, or continues to happen repetitively through a game itself, let's have a choice of, you're either going to be on the field or you're not going to be on the field, because someone else behind you most certainly has a better, I just think a better opportunity of first off playing better because they want to be out there on the field, but deserves it in their own right as well.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got a lot of these young players, who are wanting to get more opportunities. And I look back to KJ Sampson in that Miami loss a couple weeks ago, 6 tackles in 17 snaps. And obviously Juice Cryer was injured. You're kind of thinning out there in the linebacker room, but Omar Graham Jr., I feel like he's played pretty well for the most part the last 2 weeks. No Blake Nicholson, dealing with that hand injury, but I feel like you've got to continue to invest in him. And we saw Fentrell Cypress. He wasn't able to play, exited the game with an injury after 11 defensive snaps, according to Adam Fuller on Monday. You had Jabril Rawls and Quindarius getting more opportunities, and some up and down in there. But at the same time, these are the guys who could be the future. And with everything that you wanted to accomplish out of the window, now's the time to sow those seeds and, I mean, really invest here in these final 3 games. Because, even if Florida State, if they lose these final 3 games, that experience is going to be vital for these guys moving forward. And same thing for on the offensive side of the ball when you look at Luke Kromenhoek, obviously, and I mean Brockland as well, and then the offensive line, Andre Otto, Jalen Early, like the guys who are going to be here, the wide receivers, obviously the trio, the true freshmen, We see it on the depth chart for the tight ends this week. Landon Thomas and Amari Williams, the only players listed there for FSU. So it's happening in some facets, but you're at a point where it should happen in every facet.